Well, good morning. Here we are back at TMBS. We've got a great day today. We're going to actually look at the UberPITCH finalists today, and we're going to get them all to pitch to us. We're going to give them some feedback, and we're going to try and pick some winners and give some money away. Nick, so what's the game today? What are we doing? What's the process?
So yeah, we picked 4 guys that we thought were the best on the day. They're here today in the studio. We've got we tried to get all the judges back, but everyone's pretty busy, so we managed to get yourself, obviously, Krill Price and John Winning. You guys are going to judge the finalists.
The A team.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are the only ones I wanted anyway.
Sorry, Matt Barry, and no. Nick's only joking.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're definitely joking. So, yeah, we're going to, score everyone from, out of, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Give 4 points to the person you like the most, and second points for the second, etc., etc. Once we're done, we'll make a call, add them all up, see who's the best on the day today, and give away some prizes. It's we've got 4. Everyone's a winner today, so everyone's walking away with something, which I think is important because they did well just to get to this stage. So equal fourth and third prize $2,500 each. Third prize $5,000 and first prize $15,000. So
second
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah.
Because I saw some of those checks in the office the other day.
Yeah. So we've got some big checks, and look, hopefully they don't take those to the bank. I've got some bank checks just in case. I think that's what it's all about, making sure, giving your time and advice and mentoring. That's all well and good, but a big part of what these guys need is money. So
show me the cash.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay, how do we? Morning, guys.
Morning.
Grill,
Morning.
Johnny.
How's it going? Is it too late to apply, Nick? That sounds like a pretty good prize.
So what I thought was maybe you guys could have a quick chat about what you're looking for today. Key attributes from the guys that are pitching you, things that you'll be on the lookout for, and what will ultimately determine who you judge to be a winner and a runner-up.
That's a good call. So, I did the investable pitch a little while ago with you, Creel, and Johnny, were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Johnny, you were there too. Yeah, 3. We were there along with someone from Daniel's partner, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel was he was all good to go to be here today as well, and he's actually really crook. So
okay,
he's.
Well, wish him
well.
Well,
like to be here.
And one of the things that we know was they're 1 minute pitches, so we've got 5 minute pitches today, so we should be able to get some more depth out of them. Creel, what do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I think that's better.
Yeah, and that gives them an opportunity. Maybe it doesn't so much give them an opportunity, it gives them no excuses. Because the 1 minute guys, I thought was probably...
It's a long elevator ride, 5 minutes. So you got.
Well, the other way to go is they could actually fuck it up.
Yeah.
It could be,
they got plenty of time to get their pitch done. I know the guys did a pretty good job in 1 minute, but I think a few of them would have liked another 30 seconds on the investable day. But certainly with a 5 minute pitch, if you can't tell us what your purpose of your business is in 5 minutes, and you probably got to rethink what you're doing. And I think that 5 minutes, doesn't matter how good you are at pitching, you should be able to give us a pretty good understanding of where you're at, what you need, and what you give to the end consumer, if that's what you're doing.
What's good about this, won't be going for speed. This is not a speed dating environment. This is going to be more content and substance. So the sort of things I'm looking for is I want to know what the problem is first that they're trying to solve.
Yep.
I'm looking for the solution. Then I'm actually going to be looking for scalability. I mean, can you scale this solution? In other words, and what is your format of scaling it? Where does technology fit into it? I mean, I think not always, but technology is an important part of this, and it's access to everybody, using technology to access all your customers or give all your customers access back to you.
I'm looking for hunger as well.
Yeah, like in
attitude. I want to see how hungry they are. I want to see, does this person have what it takes? There's plenty of people that can sit around and have a great idea, but at the end of the day, it's the really hungry ones that are out there that can, go on when the going gets tough, and they can get knocked back 10 times when they're trying to get funding, and those that pick themselves up and go in for an 11th versus going, oh, the world's against me, it's no good, I had this great idea, someone else has now done it, life's not fair. I think the hungry ones are the ones that sort of work out that life isn't fair, and they've got to beat the rest. It's even for everyone.
Good attitude.
Yeah, and it's got to be directed as well. I think that hunger, you want to make sure that they've got some kind of relevant connection. So they've got a passionate, you talked about the problem, so they've got to have a passionate connection to were they a customer of people that weren't delivering an unmet need, or were they from that industry? So I think that's so much easier to get traction if they've got experience in the industry they're trying to disrupt.
And how important is knowledge about the problem and the solution? I mean, but an in-depth knowledge of the marketplace that they're involved in, that they're proposing to be involved in?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Obviously, if you don't know what the problem is properly, then you probably may not have the right solution for it. And I think that a lot of these people will, and I'm looking at some of the ones on the list, I think they do have a good idea of the problem. I think that through the process, there were some people that had a great idea, but it might be in women's fashion and they hadn't really done their homework into it. They go, oh, my girlfriend this, I'm trying to, start making women's dresses or whatever it might be. And you think, okay, well, what's your background in design? What's your background in fashion? Just because your girlfriend says that you've got a good idea or a good eye for fashion doesn't mean you're the best at making a woman's dress. However, I think that if someone is attached to a problem and the problem's either happened to them or happened to someone close, it's not so much finding a solution straight off the bat, but actually researching and getting in there, talking to the people that are living and breathing, that industry, and really making sure you've done your homework, because there's nothing worse than an idea that's not researched.
Or validated, So you want to validate the business model, you want to validate the market, and really as a founder team. So I reckon it's okay, Mark, if they don't come from the industry, as long as they've got a co-founder that has, or they've already got a team that have got those expertise.
Like John and I, we come more out of the actual business environment. I mean, you do too, Creel, but in your current business investable, you see hundreds and hundreds of these things all the time. Sure. What's the biggest failure? I mean, what are they doing that's the worst? What is the most repeated failure item, the thing that they keep failing on?
Yeah, well, too broad. They're focusing on, sometimes they're going to, okay, this is a new social network. It's going to be the next, Facebook. Sometimes I think it's key about trying to find something really specific and really niche that you can be the best in the world at. And you can grow from there, sure. But I think people are a little bit naive about how hard it is to actually get customer traction. So unless you've got a really strong niche that you've got a differentiated product for, you're not going to get anywhere.
And what are investors looking for? I mean, what are the 2 or 3 things the investors?
Well, really, it's firstly, the good investors, I think, are looking at founder first. You can change the business model, evolve it over time, but if you haven't got a good founder or a good founder team, I think you're dead in the water. So that's you've got to have that as a minimum, and then they're looking for businesses that they've got some kind of expertise in themselves. So, fintech's really strong at the moment because a lot of money comes from the investment industry, and they've got skills in fintech. So I think that's an example. So find your investors that have got some smart equity to give rather than just the money. And then the other thing that investors are probably looking for, I think, is that it can be scalable, whether that's through technology, whether it's got a global reach, or whether it's an industry that's just got an amazing opportunity that no one else is fulfilling.
Okay, and Johnny, what do you look at if you want to invest in something? I don't know. Are you investing in things?
I've looked at a couple of things. Most of my business is tied up in appliances online, fortunately or unfortunately, but we're still definitely in the build phase in our business. So, if that's what's needed, we're really pumping most of our money into that. But where I do have any spare cash, or certainly I've got a lot of friends that are asking me, I've got spare cash. What are some good tech companies that you're seeing? So I've certainly got access to some people's capital if I find the right idea for them. I'm pretty protective of how I refer my friends to invest their money. For me, I guess it much the same as Creel. It's about the founder. It's about not being too broad. Too often do I see friends or people I know that are going to be the next Facebook. In their own mind, that's just what they think. I'm going to take on this, and I do this, but I do that. And I say, there's other businesses doing that. Oh yeah, but we do it all in one place. I think you're just never going to get that traction unless you can really find that niche of people that you're answering a problem that they don't have. And if you can do that, then maybe putting yourself out when you prove that you've sort of sold it to the niche first. But for me, definitely around the founder and around the hunger, and obviously the idea's got to be good. It's got to make sense. It's got to be validated, as Creel said.
Just to clarify that point, there's a thing called the perfect startup storm. I started talking about it, which is what investors don't want. They want, if all of these things conspire, your business is never going to be successful. Essentially, someone that's starting a business for the first time, they've never been in business, in an industry they've never been in, launching a product that's never existed anywhere in the world before, that requires critical mass and a huge tech build before it's going to actually work. Those 5 are the perfect startup form factors. And if you don't get those, if they've got those working against you, you're not going to get investment.
Unless your name's Mark Zuckerberg, I guess. So it's a 1 in a 3 billion chance or something.
And sorry, just off there, Nick, how much we got in this party?
Jay,
10 minutes, Roger.
Yeah.
How much we got for this? Because I got one more question I want to ask.
Yeah, cool. Just one more, and then
we'll go. One of the things, I mean, you hit a really important point there, Creel, and I think, John, you're sort of saying the same thing. How important is for us to know whether or not they've ever failed or not before? And because, I mean, I talked to Blackburn, I talked to a lot of VCs, and even Kerry Packard put it to me, how important is that failure, that having failed before, or nearly failed before, and still got back on your bike and had a crack?
Yeah, it's great. If not everyone's failed, so it doesn't mean that everyone has to get investment. You have to have failed before, but it's certainly people that have used other people's money or their own money and didn't quite get there. They're going to be a lot more careful the next time they do it. A little bit less rose-coloured glasses going into business, and I think that's important. But they have to admit their failures and actually tell us what they learnt from it. It's not just, we've failed all this time. I want to find out, have they learnt from the failure and what are they going to do differently next time?
And what they learn about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a good friend of mine, Alan Jones, probably many people know, he always, tries to, well, I always get him to try and teach me about leadership. And he says to me, it's simple. People just want to follow someone that they really believe in what they're trying to achieve and that they think that's there next to them, putting in the hard yards. And one thing that he always taught me is he said, the real champions aren't those that have won their whole life and been successful their whole life. The real champions are those that have been knocked down. They've been successful. They've had a couple of failures and they've been able to pick themselves up and get back to the top again. And he said they're the real champions in his opinion. And I think it's the same in business. So I think there's massive points for those that have had some failings and have been able to prove that they could get back up, or maybe they were successful then failed, even better. Versus someone that might have been always successful. It's not to say that they're not the greats, but I think that those that haven't been down and out and then been able to come back up, only a matter of time before they get that test. And if you're alongside them as an investor, you just don't know how they're going to come on the other side of that when they do finally get knocked down.
That's my view. If I'm going to put money with somebody, I don't want them to kook it halfway through because the assumptions have changed, or
things aren't going to plan.
That a kid's been born or something like that. I mean, which is all great, but there's the last thing I'm going to do is be putting my money with someone who's going to kook it halfway through.